two biker groups, Hells Angels and Pagans, became fierce rivals because they both wanted to be the best. They had a big fight on May 14th, 2022. More than 30 bikers from both sides got hurt really badly. This fight wasn't just a one-time thing. It was part of a bigger battle for power that both groups were really serious about. Since then, there's been a lot of fighting and trouble between these two groups, causing a lot of damage and even deaths. Before we look at why they fought, let's learn about these groups. The Pagans Motorcycle Club started in 1959 with only 13 members. But by the late 1970s, they became one of the biggest outlaw motorcycle clubs in the US. They mainly worked in the Northeast and had connections with different criminal groups like the Blood Street Gang, the Philadelphia Mob, and the Latin Kings. During the 1970s and 1980s, they got even bigger because they were really involved in selling methamphetamine in the Northeast. Their fortunes took a downturn in the early 2000s as law enforcement investigations in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New York resulted in the sentencing of over 70 pagans, including the national president and several vice presidents, to lengthy prison terms on charges related to drug trafficking. Taking advantage of this situation, the Hells Angels made the most of the pagans' weakened position. Now let's explore the background of the Hells Angels. Who exactly are they? The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is a worldwide outlaw motorcycle club known for riding Harley-Davidson bikes. But despite their love for motorcycles, their reputation isn't all that great. These members, often called by nicknames like HA, Red, and White, make up the largest outlaw motorcycle club globally, with over 6,467 chapters in 59 countries. Otto Friedli, a veteran from World War II, started this club after leaving the Pissed Off Bastards Motorcycle Club because of a dispute with another gang. Another theory suggests that Dick White, a member of the Redlands Roadrunners, established the Hells Angels on November 15, 1951, in San Bernardino. After the Hells Angels took over Philadelphia, several intense events occurred that escalated the conflicts within the gang. Thomas Woodman's shift from the Pagans to the Hells Angels marked a significant beginning. The Hells Angels approached Woodman, a Pagans member, and persuaded him to leave his allegiance to the Pagans and join their group, despite his pledge to the Pagans forever. In 2002, Woodman agreed to join the Hells Angels along with some other former Pagans, becoming part of the Angels West Philadelphia chapter. The tension escalated during an event called the Hellraiser Ball in February 2022. Organized by the Long Island chapter of the Hells Angels, this convention included motorcycle displays, a tattoo contest, live music, and appearances by notable figures like Chuck Zito and Sonny Barger. Unbeknownst to the media, who happily covered the glamorous event, around 70 pagans arrived, aiming to disrupt the festivities. Gunfire broke out, resulting in injuries to 5 pagans and 1 fatality. Police arrested 73 bikers, with 66 later found guilty of federal racketeering charges. This bold attack by the pagans signaled their refusal to back down, sparking an intense battle for dominance. Soon after, the pagans targeted Thomas Wood, who had switched sides and risen to become the acting president of the Hells Angels Philly chapter. While driving along the I-76 expressway, Wood was fatally shot by unidentified assailants, an act believed to be orchestrated by the pagans. His murder, officially unsolved, left a lingering mystery and almost triggered a major conflict between the groups back in 2005. The details surrounding the incident, including whether Wood retaliated, remain unclear according to the police investigation. Despite the passing of time, Thomas Wood's unsolved murder still looms over the circumstances of his death. Meanwhile, the pagans took a strategic approach. They focused on recruiting new members to match the larger Hells Angels, preparing for an inevitable clash. They loosened their membership criteria and actively recruited Hispanic street gang members, causing a significant increase in their numbers over the next 20 years. At one point, they even considered expanding their operations into Quebec, a stronghold of the Hells Angels, but dropped the plan due to the intense reputation of Canadian bikers in the criminal world. Andrew Glick, a former Pagans chapter president turned informant, emphasized the seriousness of the Canadian biker scene compared to the US. In 2015, Richter became the new national president of the Pagans after serving as the club's national sergeant at arms. Released from prison in 2012 after completing a 14-year sentence for conspiracy to commit murder, Richter was determined to establish the Northeast as Pagans territory. He launched the Blue Wave Initiative, a massive recruitment effort aimed at dominating the entire northeastern US and pushing out rival groups. Richter knew that the Hells Angels wouldn't give up their dominance easily, setting the stage for an inevitable escalation of the long-standing tension between these powerful groups. Tensions between the Hells Angels and Pagans had escalated significantly, leading to clashes whenever they crossed paths. On April 24, 2018, Jeffrey Schenk, associated with the Hells Angels, was ambushed while refueling his motorcycle at a gas station. 3 people attacked him with baseball bats, causing severe injuries including fractured ribs and a collapsed lung. This assault also resulted in the death of Francisco Rosado. The Hells Angels established a new clubhouse in an area long dominated by the Pagans, the Bronx. Shortly after their move, a group of masked individuals on motorcycles fired automatic rifles at the clubhouse, causing extensive damage but miraculously not injuring anyone inside. In May 2020, Francisco Rosado, president of the Pagans Bronx chapter, was fatally shot outside his workplace by 2 masked gunmen armed with silenced pistols. These events acted as triggers for a series of conflicts that spiraled into a warlike situation between the Hells Angels and the Pagans. The gain from these interconnected incidents remains unclear, leaving questions about who ultimately benefits from this ongoing confrontation.